Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to talk to my good friend Teri today. I've been teasing you all over Facebook about our mindset reset today, so I hope you can watch this at a later time. But that's okay because we all need a mindset reset at whatever point in the day that we feel it. So I decided to go ahead and still meet with Teri and ask her a bunch of questions for you so you can listen and you can learn. And also I will ask her to share what she's doing and where you can learn more, because I know you're going to love her just like I do. So I know you're going to want to learn more. And she lives in Colorado, so if you ever go that way, say hi on my behalf once we can actually travel. So hi, Teri. And it's so
Hello.
good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Yeah, the last time I saw you, you were in Colorado.
Yes, the last time we
Remember? Like
actually saw each other
yeah,
in
I know.
person.
We got
Yes.
together. Yeah, that's
Well, you came to
fantastic.
Virginia, so I had to return the favor, you know.
Oh, that was so sweet. Thank you.
I should be coming again in December, but who knows? Because everything's going virtual now with this
Yeah,
whole
I
adventure we're
know.
in.
I know.
So,
I'm sad to travel. I've been to 4 states in the last month, and I have not left my my office.
yeah, I know. I like it because you can see more people that otherwise you wouldn't see,
Yeah.
you know, because we all live online now. But I also don't like it because I would actually like to see the people in person that I can see. so,
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
it's like a mixed blessing. The only thing that I guess is my biggest like part is the lack of choice. Because if it was a choice thing, I'll be okay with
Agreed.
it. But
Agreed.
when you only can do one thing, it's driving me bonkers.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. Yeah.
So please tell people a little bit about you, because I want people to hear about you from you, and not just the fact that I think you're fabulous, which I do, but I just want you to share a little bit about what you do and
Yes.
what you're passionate about.
Yeah. So I'm Teri Karjala. I'm a transformational life strategist. And really what that means is I help people step out of their old belief systems into their new possibilities. And I absolutely love what I do. I've taken my 22 years of counseling experience. I've combined it with energy psychology, and then I applied the principles of quantum physics. Many people are familiar with the terms of law of attraction. That's one universal principle, and I utilize a lot of different universal principles to help leverage individuals' businesses, when women, specifically women entrepreneurs, to really leverage their business and grow and have more impact. Because I think most people, have a desire to have more clients, more money, more freedom, and most importantly, more impact in the world. So I've taken those and combined them to really help, clear out all the, blocks, the barriers, the baggage, if you will, and to really help individuals get really clear and confident and connected to their, what I call their magic within, so that they can create with more ease. So I am, as we were talking about before we hopped on, I am the author of Be the Magic of You, Tools to Transform Your Life, with a foreword written by Jack Canfield himself. And then I also have created my daily intentions planners, because um, I found along the way that people kept asking me, I understand the concept of law of attraction, but I'm not really using it. I understand this concept of energy, but I'm not really using it. And so I've created a routine and a daily practice in helping people, start to put these principles in practice daily, so that they can see the return on investment, so they can see the transformation, so they can see the evidence that they're heading in the right direction, and that there can be a lot more ease involved in doing so.
I just caught on a word there that I really am impressed that you kept saying it over and over, the daily part. Because I get the intentions, and I know a lot of people talk about setting
Yeah.
intention and having the vision of what you want to do, all that. But then if you do that once in a blue moon, like, yeah, once in a blue moon you
People,
get what you want, but
yeah, but people don't, yeah, and when you get really laser focused on what is it that do I do, what is it that I do desire, and then I'm putting attention to that every day, and I'm, moving towards that, it's just easier. And then, when you're incorporating, so this, this resource, if you will, really has combined brain science, energy science, and then law of attraction to help people move, move themselves forward. Because, you're right. Like, it's easy to forget if you're not in a habit of doing something. And then it's like, oh, it's been 3 weeks. Oh yeah, I need to do that. Like, oh, that thing, that vision board, whatever that
Right.
might be. And then, again, it's like going to the gym. If you're not doing it consistently enough, you're just not going to see the results as quickly as you could.
Right. And then from not seeing the results, you get sidetracked and, oh, today I'm not doing it. Oh, well, it's all right. It's just one day. And then one day turns
Yes.
into two, and
Yep.
in a week, and so
Yep.
forth.
Yes. And
Yeah.
how I just got this new little, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. You have no idea. I just bought this little this little board, and I've been using it all the time now, because I think what happens for a lot of people, and we're talking about mindset reset here. um Man, that is not straight, I apologize. um is
Approximately. It's okay.
It's approximately, you guys get my point here. So when people come in and often see me, they're in this place right here where I call getting stuck in the muck. And we often will spiral down. This is where the spirals happen. And we get stuck here. And this is, all of our fear, our doubts, our worries, our insecurities. I mean, COVID is like having like like a party here right now for a lot of people's worlds, right? And so this can represent a week, or a day, a week. It can represent a year, sometimes 6 years for people. I mean, it can be really long term. But then there's always this time and space that when we come up and we're like, oh my goodness, like everything's falling into place. I feel an alignment, like, like, my favorite songs coming on on the stereo, and I am hitting all the green lights, and like life feels easy. And so we come up here where I call it the zone of brilliance. But for some people, we find ourselves falling back down into this, and we keep going to this cycle. And so what I love helping people do is get to this place and space where we start to transition this into staying up here for longer periods of time, because we know when people are in a higher vibration, they can actually create and generate more in their lives with more ease, versus being down in here. So, and I used to believe that this was the most important part of this chart years and years and years ago. And then what I realized is that these little intersectional points are the most important, because how do I lose it, right? And how do I gain it? And so once we learn that, it's like a light switch. We can turn it on and turn it off, because right now my getting stuck, if you will, is literally 2 to 5 minutes. That's it. And then it's like, okay, I'm back up again, right? So and so I think mindset is so important, because every one of us in this moment in time is being shown a lot of stuff right now during this, what we're calling, I don't know, this moment of transition, this moment of transformation that's happening right now for us. Is we're being shown so much of the work to be done, right? So
Yes. Yeah, I think that it's weird, like limbo. That's what I've been like feeling it like, because
yeah,
it's just the fact that you're thinking, okay, I want to do this, I can do that, or oops, I really want to do this but I can't, and this is happening and this is affecting me, and then you have all of this negative media anyway. So all of this is in maybe a little bit paralyzing. It has that effect on people. You know how they say analysis paralysis. So I don't think
yeah,
it's the analysis part, but it is the paralysis part of it, because it's just so much information that you need to take into account when doing anything. And then also you have all the restrictions, like we were talking a minute ago about not having a choice, and you just have to do the one thing because that's the only way that's available, like online instead of in
yeah,
person. And because of that, it just triggers certain things that do make you spiral down. And
yeah.
you're talking
I
about the intersection points, that triggers, right, why you
well, I
can't do, or why you
well, and here's the thing. Like, we are being shown, like we are on a global standpoint. Okay, on a global standpoint, we're all going through this. We're going through this individually, right? We're going through this experience of like being. What is it that we're being shown? I grew up in the Midwest and in the country, and I'm using this metaphor of, you know, before farmers take out the plows, right? It's like the soil is flat and smooth, right? And then they take out these plows and they're plowing up all the dirt, right? And I feel like right now everyone is going through this experience where it's like, okay, there's stuff that's been overturned and shown to us for us to look at, evaluate, contemplate, delete, transform. I mean, it's this opportunity. And so we're doing this on an individual basis. Then we're doing this in a family basis. Then we're doing this in a community basis. And then we're doing this on a worldwide, you know, global basis, right? So, I mean, there's like this massive onion being peeled
Yeah.
with or without our consent to do so, by the way. And so there's a lot of stuff that's coming up for people. And so we are in this state and place of looking at things, what's been working, what's not been working. And I'm telling you, so many, for myself and for most of all, I mean, I would say probably all my clients have come to me and said, oh my goodness, I think I helped create this because I'm getting so much from this experience. I'm getting so much insight. I'm getting so much ideas, creativity. I mean, there's so much good that's coming out of this experience. And so there are some powerful shifts that are coming for all of us, you
I
know?
totally agree, because there are a few companies and organizations that I'm connected to and very involved in, and actually that came up a few times, where they said, well, we were thinking about this Zoom thing and having virtual meetings and having virtual workshops, and it was just something we really thought we should do, but one day, you know,
Yeah,
it's the one thing that you know you should work on, like you said about your three products, that you know you need to do it, but right now I'm so busy on this, and right now I got to do
yeah,
this, and you just put it in the back, and oh, I'll take care of it. And this just forced us to become more mobile when we can't be mobile, and
yeah,
reach out further where we can't be there in person. But the technology has evolved, so, and I was also sharing with a friend, is that how would this have been 20 years ago,
yeah,
right, when we couldn't see people, where we had emails,
yeah,
but not everybody had internet, and you
yeah.
couldn't go to internet cafes because they would have been closed,
Right, right.
and you had to call people, but then calling was more expensive, because long distance
Oh
wasn't
yeah.
no
Yeah,
big
yeah,
deal. I mean, you
yeah.
had to pay extra. I mean, we didn't have cell phones back then,
Yeah.
or hardly, not everybody.
Yeah.
So it would have been a lot. So I think that, as you said, as a society, as the world, as the whole humanity, we have
Yeah.
evolved to a point where we can use this experience and
Yeah.
we can grow from it, and we
Yeah.
can modify hopefully some things and learn from it too, and don't do certain crazy things that we had been doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, great. I like what you're talking about. You know, I always love listening to you, how you explain stuff, and it makes so much sense when you say it. And I've been trying to tell people about it, and it just doesn't make as much sense when I say it, but it just sounds so good the way you explain it. So what
Yeah.
I would love for you to share with people is maybe a technique or an idea on when they feel themselves spiraling down, how can they raise their vibration, even if it's just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's tons of stuff. So, is there anything specifically, or just when they're like feeling like, you know, if we're going back to this image, right? If we're like,
Right.
you know, going down here, right? Um, the first piece is, you know, whatever it is for, and I'm going to speak in general sense here, so that way it can be very global here, is whatever it is that's coming up for them. And a lot of times, oftentimes I'll say, especially like right now, let's use fear as an example, because fear is so, I mean, everyone has experienced this. I mean, we have 7 billion people on the planet. We probably have 6 billion, 6 people, 6 billion people um, on this planet that's in fear state. You know, I think it's becoming less and less. So when we experience anything, you know, the first thing is just to acknowledge, hey, hello, there's whatever this emotion is, whether that's fear, whether it's anger, because a lot of times we kind of want to avoid what we're feeling, and I let people know that Emotions are here as our, if you will, our internal guidance system. All it's doing is giving us information about the situation that we're currently facing in. It's also giving us an opportunity to have some insight. And so a lot of times, and this is a great tool for folks to use. So those that are going to be watching this, write this down. It's just literally closing your eyes and asking your body, my body, what is it that you're trying to tell me that I'm refusing to hear? And within that question, and what you'll do is just ask the question and just allow an insight to come up. And sometimes we hear it auditorily, through our brain is like, okay, sometimes it'll be right then and there, sometimes it'll be an hour later, sometimes it'll be after we slept and we had an amazing dream and it's like this intense dream. It might be a week later. So just if you have that awareness, it's like, okay, what is it that I'm being told right now that I'm supposed to be either learning from, experiencing, or healing from, or whatever it might be for that person, right? So the first part is, identifying, what is coming up, asking what is it here to do, what is it here for you for, to see that if you have an awareness or identity on that. And then the next piece is really looking at where are you at. And emotions are on a vibrational scale. Scientists have taken, and it's amazing to think about everything as energy, and emotions emit at different vibrations as well. And so if we're experiencing anger, that's a certain type of energy, which is like probably about here. And if we're experiencing despair, it would be lower down, right? And fear is further down. And then on the other side of that, we have like contentment, and then we go up to maybe joy or pleasure, and then joy. And then on the highest vibrational scale that we have is love and gratitude. Those are the highest vibrations that we have. So when we look at that scale, right, if we can just simply start to shift where we're at to a better feeling state, right? Like if we're in that place of fear, okay, how do we move closer to anger? Like, how do we get angry about the situation? And then how do we transition that from anger into maybe in a place of, curiosity, or a place of, frustration, right? And as we continue to move and shift, it starts to help us move and shift, closer up that scale. Because here's the truth. A lot of times people will come to me and say, I'm not growing my business. I'm not doing this. And then they have all of these blocks and barriers that's keeping them from creating that. From a vibrational standpoint, they're here, and they're here going through life, and they're like, why am I not creating this? But this huge gap in between is preventing them, because they're not even in a vibrational alignment with that. So there's no possible way in which they can get from here without doing the work to get to here. Does that make sense? And so, when we can shift that energy, that helps us, get into a better feeling thought, and a better place with that. And then what else? What else would be? I'm trying to think of some other things that can help shift people from that. Obviously, being in a place and state of gratitude. And so one of the things that I teach a lot about and lot to people is the last 45 minutes of our night. That is a place and space. I feel like when we start like how do we keep our vibrations high and strong at the beginning of the day? I feel like it starts the night before. Because if we can create a space and place where we are in a high vibration, we can start that next day in that space too. So I feel like the work starts the night before. And so some of the ways in which we can continue that is, the last 45 minutes of our night is really dedicated to you and your transformation, and protect that time, because we know that those 45 minutes of the night gets processed 7 times more than anything else during the day. And so, having a routine that makes sense for you is that allows yourself to set yourself up for success for the next day. Mine involves, planning out my day using the daily intentions planners, setting my intentions for the next day. I then spend time with gratitude, and I finish my night in that state. Well, actually, I put meditations in there, and then I end the night with gratitude, and then that sets me up for success for the next day. So then when you're in that state and place, it's easier to stay in that state and place. Then it's harder, like, oh, I'm not having a great day. And then starting the next day with that, kind of hanging over your head, if you will. And then the next day is like starting to have that game plan. I have my routine that I do in the morning. I call it impact. And so then I have a daily, process that I go through to stay in that high vibration, high creation place, so that I'm not getting knocked off, in this situation. It's harder to knock me off. And things that used to drive me nuts are little bumps. Like COVID for me was a little bump. Like it wasn't, 72 hours. Like I had a lot of things change in my life. Like, don't get me wrong. I went from, transitioning two businesses within 72 hours. I became a full-time online elementary teacher, and Glenise, Glenise, yeah, I can probably contest to this. Like that's not an easy thing, right? And then you have, I became a, lunch lady and a PE teacher and like all these other tasks that got handed to me unexpectedly, but literally because I'd done the work and I was really clear, I was like, it literally felt like a little bump. I was like, oh, okay, that's all you got, COVID. And so it was an easier transition, for sure.
I like that you talked about what COVID brought to your life as far as the changes, because I think that a lot of people went through that. And to me, just from my personal experience and then what I see in other people, I think there are two, I guess, moments or stages, if you will, in COVID, because they're not really just dots in time, they're over a period.
Yeah.
One was the in the beginning and figuring out from the old normal that we knew and had been going on for years to this COVID normal that now everything, instead of being in person, is virtual. And now instead of going and saying hi to the neighbor, you kind of cross over the street because you don't want to be that close. All of those things. And then you can't go to the store when you need something. You wait to need more things because you don't want to go so many times. All of these changes, we all had to process and go through. And I'm about to have my boss here, so if you hear her voice, I apologize, but they're the boss, so I'm just staff, so I just work here. So there it is. Little piece of
That's so funny. I was like, what is she talking about? My boss is not here either. He usually lays right next to me.
There you go. So you know what I'm talking about. This is the boss of the family.
Oh my gosh, that's
she's
hysterical.
Not the youngest one, but she's the tiniest one, and she bosses everybody.
Oh my gosh.
So but they always
fierce but mighty.
So yeah, exactly. And she's the boss and the rest are coworkers.
Love it.
So back to what I was saying before she came, because she had something to say. So I think that the first transition and the first period was about us all figuring out how to deal with the COVID situation and the news reality and transitioning into more at home and all that. But then I think also during this time, we are going through a different where we're looking at, okay, now we're in this place, but we don't really like it, or we've had enough of it. So now, darn it, it's boring. Now I have to do this again. Now I want to go back. I want to go out. I really want to go out. That's me. And I'm pretty sure it's not just me. So just being able to go and say hi to somebody. I'm not a hugger. I'm okay with not hugging people, but I just want to be able to go and see somebody in person. And that's been a challenge, So I think that now is that other mindset shift that is happening with, I'm really tired of this. And when is it stopping? Because I want to do A, B, and C things that I haven't been able to do in not a week or two, but now it's like 2 months. So I think all of that is happening.
Yeah, someone just shared this with me the other day, and she was like, I feel like in the month of for some people it was March, some people it was May. We all kind of got frozen, like frozen in time for a moment. And like, and she was saying like, we're all kind of having our defrosting moments. Like some people are more defrosted than others, and someone you just, it's still frozen, right? You know, and it's
Mm-hmm.
really true. Like we're all kind of coming out as like this shared experience, right? Of like, okay, what just happened? And now, and so now I think people are like, people were done, and now we're getting to the place that we're done, right? Like we're
Right. It's
not
like,
done.
okay, I dealt with it. I listened. When is this
Now,
over?
yeah, now I think, and now as the world is kind of waking back up again, you know, I literally, tomorrow, I'm super excited about this, but I had to make an appointment to go shop at the Container Store. And so I'm like, I think like businesses cannot sustain in that model. And so I think that
Right.
I hope that that is just the next short-lived phase. And then, the world's kind of opening back up. But you're right, everyone is in kind of their own space and place with this, and it looks different for each person, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone's living situation and everyone's situation looks different. I mean, my husband and I, essential business owners, so it wasn't really much of a transition in a lot of ways.
Right.
For you, maybe, I don't know, like everyone has had a different experience, or within that. And what does that look like for other people? And you're right, like people are just like, how do we move forward with this, because this is becoming our new norm, unfortunately. um, a
Right.
lot of it will a lot of it will stay with us, and a lot, and here's the thing is, we don't want to go back to the old way, right? Like there's a
I
lot
don't
of
think we
things
will, though. I
there's
think
a lot of
that
things there's a lot
we'll
of things
take
that are,
some.
yeah, we're
Yes.
going to take some, we're going to, hopefully we get to have our ice cream, and or have our cake and eat the ice cream, or eat the frosting too, in this situation. Like take what worked and what was going well, let's move that forward, and then let's create new, because there's some amazingly new stuff that has happened, obviously, with all of this. And so moving forward with that. Did you have a specific question as far as like, how are we doing that, or?
So, guess mindsets, if you will, or different transitions of mindset, right? Is how do people find their, I guess, path through it would be a good
Mhm.
choice of words. How, okay, you realize there's a transition, you acknowledge it,
Yes.
but then how do you cope with the way you feel about it, or with the way it impacts you, or with the way your world is impacted, because it's not just you, it's your family, it's your coworkers or your employees if you own a business with
Yeah.
employees, or your referral partners, or anybody that you collaborate with if you are a solopreneur. So whatever is happening is not just me that is having the problem, and it's not just a 5-minute problem or a 2 weeks problem. Now it's been
Yeah.
2 months and it's still continuing. I mean, yes, it's some stuff is changing, but we're not back to being able to see each other all the time and that type of stuff.
Right.
So
Right.
I think that what I would like for you to maybe suggest or share with people is how can they put themselves in a mindset of maybe dealing with it, but more so than just accepting it and kind of rolling with the punches, right? There's a quote that I like that says only dead fish go with the flow, right? So you got, how do you work with it where it becomes something for you and in your advantage?
Yeah. Well, here's been my mantra for the last 2.5 months here is whenever I'm in this place and space of like, what? I just keep saying, and this has like been my mantra, is like, this is happening for me, not to me. This is happening for me, not to me, right? And the other thing that I share with people, because we will go in with this perception that whether we perceive it as negative, okay, or we perceive it as positive, it's still a perception. It's still
Right.
the perception that we have of it, because right now in the moment of it, we don't necessarily know what tomorrow brings. We don't know necessarily what next year brings, what 5 years from now brings. And so when we're in the moment of any type of crisis, any type of transition, any type of difficulty, we are in it. We don't necessarily we don't have that 2020 vision yet when we have it. And so when we're in that place and space, what I like to ask, and like this is a great tool for people to write down, and it's amazing how this will shift the energy. So whether we perceive it as negative or perceive it as positive, um, asking the question, how much better can it get? So if I perceive it as positive, how much better can it get, right? If I perceive it as positive, how much better can it get, right? And so just asking that question, it's a generative question. When we ask generative questions, the brain says, I don't know. And it's almost like the little minions in our brain come out and they're like, I don't know, why is it? Huh. And then it gives our brain a task. And the neat thing about this is the brain will always find the evidence if we give it the task to do it, right? And so what will happen, it will engage the reticular activation system in our brain. That part of the brain is designed to scan the environment to find the evidence. If we're giving it a direction, it will find the answer, okay? Because our brains are like, I think the brain is pretty bored and it needs something to keep it entertained with. So if we can say, well, why is it so easy, or how much better can it get? That brain will find the answer for us. And again, it's going back to that positive mindset is, I can, if I, you know, here's a, here's the thing. When 2008 happened, right, when the economy was crashing, that was probably the last time that we had kind of a national experience, a shared experience like this. And so there was two realities that was happening, right? One reality was doom and gloom, the world's coming to an end. My good friend got laid off. I had uh, oh, a florist company go under, and that was a reality. That was an absolute reality. And my CPA was like, oh my gosh. And I was at the time expanding my business and taking these huge leaps of faith in my business. And he kept saying, oh, I don't know if I would do that. That's bad, but did you see what's happening? Right? That was one reality. Simultaneously, during 2008, the same reality was my girlfriend who, got laid off. She called me up and I said, let's celebrate because she hated her job. And so she was able to get 6 months of unemployment, right? So she got to figure out what she wanted to do. She created her own business and she still to this day, loves what she does, right? She would not have had that opportunity had she not been fired. I'm not fired, but laid off, right? And then there was a brand new, Chase Bank, and there was a brand new a shopping center that was created, a brand new, right? These two realities happened at the exact same time. Okay. And oh, by the way, my doom and gloom CPA, I'm sorry, I let him go too because I couldn't have him holding me down. Okay. So and then I hired a new person, and the new company was like, oh my gosh, best time. Listen to this. They said to me, best time to expand your business and grow. And here's why. So he was like going through the numbers with me. And I'm like, oh my goodness, he was right on track. He's like, how fast can we go? How fast can we grow your business? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love you, right? Because he was in this mindset. Okay. Two realities, exact same time frame. So it really comes back and says, okay, am I focusing on the problems and challenges and difficulties? Because I'm going to get more of them. Like it's science. It's grounded in quantum physics. Or am I choosing to say, okay, yes, this sucks, and I'm going to choose, because there's things that I'm not in agreement with. There's things that I see difficulties in things, but I'm like, okay, I can have this reality of spiraling down because my brain will do it. My brain will go there with me. Okay. My brain is my buddy. It's going to go there with me. Or I have this choice to live in this reality of saying, okay, what are we focusing? What is it focusing on? My growing? What am I focusing on this? And focusing on the positive. And guess what? That's my experience. My experience is, money is flowing through. Like I've had so much evidence that money is flowing through me that it's like, oh my god, like even yesterday I was like, oh my goodness, like I'll take more of that. Like, because my reality is I'm in a place and space where I've trained my brain to say, okay, we're looking for the evidence that's supporting me. Because I'll be honest, like I lived in the other side. I was addicted to the struggle. I was such a victim of difficulty for decades. And I realized, and someone the other day, I said, they're like, Teri, you're kind of like too happy during all of this. And I'm like, ooh, I said, you know what? I'm sorry if I offend you, if I'm staying in a place of positivity, but I said, I get to choose. Back in the day, I didn't feel like I had a choice. And so I lived in that reality because I didn't know that there was anything different. And then once I learned that there was something different, I was like, oh my heaven, there is a kid, a kid in the candy store, really kind of reality. And I'm like, oh, there's something different. And so I am now making a choice to live in this reality because for me, this reality is easier, right? Now, I still feel like from a global standpoint, there needs to be a lot of change. And I think that we're going to have to band together to help support change moving forward. I'm not, like, oh, like that's not a reality. Like that's, I know that that's a reality, but I understand that there's going to be some massive shifts and movements to get some things moving back in the right direction, you know?
Right. Yeah, it's not all fun and games and unicorns and rainbows,
Right,
obviously, but when
right.
you look for the unicorns and you see them and you enjoy them, you're going to see more of them. So,
That's right.
yeah, I
Yes.
totally agree.
Yes.
Now, before I let you go, because we've been talking for a minute, I just checked the time and I was like, whoa, we're having a good old time. So before I let you go, I would love for you to share with my audience and everybody that's going to see this on Facebook and YouTube where it's going to live. I would love for you to share your new project on Tuesdays so people may choose to join you,
Oh, yes,
because
yes,
I'm having a blast with that. And I know I've
I
missed a
love
couple because stuff was already on my calendar, but
Yeah.
since I've got you on my calendar, I'm trying to avoid anything else on that
Yes.
time.
Well, I always invite people that if you want to hear more, learn more, connect more, the fastest way to do that with me is just go to my website, Talking with Teri, Teri, /connect. And that will get you, we can connect and we can have a call. We can, um, connect it that way. That's the best and fastest way. And then what Sarana's talking about is on Tuesdays. Um, this is kind of like such a gift that came out of like COVID. Like to be honest, I was one of those people that is like, oh, I should probably do some like call, because I have group calls with my clients, but this is and I had this idea of like let's open this up to everyone so that I can help support people. And so it's been super successful and it's been so much fun, amazing women and men hopping on the call. And so it is a free call that I do once a week. And it is 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, so 11 a.m. your time. And it's 1 hour, so 11 to 12. And it's just a great group of community and it's content that gets created by you for you. And so, as we, have a conversation, it might be a tool, a nugget, a resource that comes out just to give you something right then, right there, to help you in your business, in your life, whatever that might be. So it's Talking with Teri, Teri, /Tuesdays. And then if you click on that link, it will take you directly to the sign up sheet and you can come and join us. And it's not, you don't have to stay there, I have a lot of people that are joining us and staying too because they're seeing so much value from it. And there's some people that are just kind of hopping in and out whenever they feel the need to it. So it can really just be a support on all levels for individuals. So I'm going to invite you to come and play there as well.
Awesome. And show your book again. And
Oh,
let's
yes.
just tell people again, it is available on Amazon if you want to get it,
All the
and
major
on your website.
stores. Yep, all the major stores, website, talkingwithteri.com. Yeah, Be the Magic of You tools, and then also the Daily Intentions Planner. So lots of tools. And I was telling someone the other day, like the things, so I'm all about easy and efficiency. Okay, so all of the tools that I teach are under 2 minutes. And I'd say majority of them are under, either 30 seconds or a minute. So there's no excuse as to like why I can't, implement these into my life. And there are things that you can just be doing to help expand and beyond, grow your business. And I feel like the first thing is like, let's clear out those blocks that are holding you back. And then let's have the tools there for you to expand. And once you combine those two, it's just like this magic formula that just allows you to create, be, do, and have anything that you desire. And I didn't really, I used to think, so when you hear like anything's possible, and I'm like, nah, yeah, maybe for someone else. But now I truly like, I understand that anything's possible. Like it's, we can create what we desire, if we're willing to do the work to get clear and get in alignment. It's all about being in alignment with it, and the more that we're in alignment, the easier it gets.
Definitely, definitely. I so like the way you explain stuff. As I said, it makes total sense. So I want to say I love you. You
Oh,
are
I love you
awesome.
too. Oh,
And I love spending time with you, and I can always learn something. And I totally enjoy reading your book. I will reread it because
yeah,
I worked on some things, but I didn't work on some other things. So I need
yeah,
to go back and reread it. And I also look forward to seeing you every Tuesday for however long you're going to keep
yes,
doing that.
yeah,
So hopefully some of the ladies and gentlemen that watch this on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you may catch it, just check Teri out, listen to her, read her stuff, because she has a lot of great things to share. And thank you so much, my friend, for spending time
yes,
with me
of
today.
course. This has been fantastic. Well, thank you. Massive love to everyone. Yay.
And thank you, Glenisha, for joining us.
All right.
You're welcome. I
And
enjoyed it. Thank you.
Glanisha,
so
did you have,
hopefully, oh,
do
go
you
ahead.
want to wrap up and then we can, yeah, I don't know.
No, I didn't have any questions. No.
Okay, cool.
That's what I was going to say to ask if you had anything that you wanted Teri to share. And if not, this is where we're going to let everybody go. And hopefully a lot of people watch this because it's really good. And share with a friend. Send them to our YouTube channel and share with a friend. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Perfect.